Good morning. This is Thursday, August 29th, and this will be the last show until the third Thursday in September, or the fourth. I'm not sure. Anyway, uh, Thursday, September 25th, actually. So today, um, I have to tell you, some exciting things happened this week. And I'm so excited about the healing work that I'm doing again, and I wanted to share them with you. And I promised you legends of the crystal skulls. So let's start with the legends because I promised that a couple of times. The legends, let's start with the Atlantis legend, and I'm not going to read it, I'm just going to talk to you about it. The Atlantis legend says that the light workers in Atlantis knew what was going on, and they took crystal skulls and crystals and put all of the good information into them and actually charged the crystals with the information. Now we know that that can happen and is true because of the experiments in Germany and Georgia Tech, Georgia Institute of Technology, Georgia Tech. I'm not sure which. Anyway, and we know that crystal is not solid and that it's not liquid and that it vibrates so fast and is as the axis of the universe holds things together. So the Atlantis legend says that all of this was done, and that was why my quantum biofeedback machine, the QXCI SKIO, could be brought forward because the information was actually in the crystals. And what was going on is much like is happening in CERN today with the because dark matter actually contracts, brings it in on itself. Light expands. And so we have the legend of Atlantis and why the crystal skulls. Then we have the Himalayan legend. And in my friend Dean Jamel, the Saga Oracle, she writes in Yeshua's song that his body, Jesus' body, was taken into the mountains and put by the skull of Mu so that it could heal and clear out all the dark stuff. And it was from the beauty and the frequencies of the skull and of Mu that was put by his head to literally restore the places in his energy field and his body that had been so terribly traumatized by his experience on the cross. So that's a legend. Now, legends are exactly that. I will leave it to you whether you believe they're true or not. I don't know if they are or not. It's not for me to judge. They are legends, and I do know that in the North and South American legends, the original 13 grandmothers were crystal skulls that were aligned with the moon, and they thought that the light of the moon activated them in some way during the new moon and the full moon. And the first book I read about the 13 grandmothers was Jamie Sam's book in 1992 about, so we're talking 21 years ago, called The 13 Original Grandmothers. It's just a great book. And I am going to read this. The Twisted Hair Society includes over 400 different indigenous nations that represent North, South, and Central America. And they tell a story, a legend, that long ago, North, South, and Central America along with the continents now, that are now called New Zealand and Australia, were all one landmass, all one continent known to our people as Turtle Island. The elders of the Twisted Hares said that in the very beginning there were 12 worlds with human life. The cosmic elders met on the planet called Osiris. They met to discuss the plight of the planet of children, where we are today. It is called that because it is the least evolved of all the planets with human life. So we are one of a family of 12 planets. Each of the other planets took the sum total of all of their knowledge and encoded it in what can be best described in modern terms as a holographic image computer called a crystal skull. They are absolutely flawless, perfect crystal skulls. These skulls have moving jaws just like our own skulls, and they are referred to as the singing skulls. And the entire configuration was known as the Ark of Osira-Kon-Wea, and each crystal skull represented a different planet's knowledge. They helped people on Earth build 4 great civilizations of Lemuria, Mu, Maiwan, and Atlantis. So this absolutely refers back to the skull of Mu that was in the Himalayan mountains. And they are the talking skulls, and they are known as the Ark. The Ark comprised 12 crystal skulls from each of the sacred planets, kept in a circle, with a 13th skull being the largest, placed in the center. The 13th skull represents the collective consciousness of all the worlds. This Ark connects the knowledge of all the sacred planets. As the Spanish were about to seize the crystal skulls, the jaguar priests and eagle warriors took the skulls and fled with them. And so the 13 crystal skulls were separated for the first time in their history, and it is said that they will be brought together again when we learn to share with one another, care for one another, and heal one another, and live in peace and harmony with Grandmother Earth. And that is in alignment with the Mayan prophecy and the Mayan legends. I particularly like the Mexican legend. The Huichol shamans of northwest Mexico, who are extensively trained in the use of crystals and walking in 2 worlds to bring forth healing with rituals and ceremonies. These indigenous shamans know that clear quartz crystal becomes hot from the fire, and from the energy of the shamans they become empowered. That empowerment is then transferred to the client, patient, the village, their culture. And so the Huichols believe that the shamans actually return and are reincarnated as crystals to share their wisdom. And the African legend is with the Dogon people of Africa, and they have always maintained that their ancestors came from Sirius, which they said was a double star system. Nobody believed them until telescopes became powerful enough to confirm that what they claimed was true. And one of my teachers and elders, Dr. Bernardo Pixado, also known as Ipupiera, always said that his people came from the stars. And there are more legends, and I'm not going to read all this to you, but those are the legends. Now, whether you believe them or not is completely up to you. I don't know. So just sit with that. Do you really believe that the crystal skulls exist? I've shown you a few that I have, but they don't have moving jaws. But the skull of love, also known as the Mitchell Hedges skull, has a movable jaw, and I have been with it, and pictures of it are in my book, Ancient Wisdom for Now, Crystals and the 13 Crystal Skulls, and I always get incredible guidance from that skull. So, and it is a healing skull. It truly is. Is it the biggest, the one that goes in the center? I don't know. But this week, I just had some amazing healings. Amazing. And I realized that my brand is Ancient Wisdom for Now, and in that is the drum and the healing that I really, really enjoy. And I like the writing, and I like sharing. And today I'm not so uptight about this show, I guess, because a lot of the pressure was taken off when I got told that I didn't have to make it an hour show. So, that said, I want to tell you about a lady who came to see me on Monday who has MS, multiple sclerosis. And she was very withdrawn and shy and self-deprecating, and her fear was absolutely palatable. And I couldn't figure out what was going on because she called and asked for an appointment. And I thought she was going to sign up for Young Living Oils. She hasn't, but she might. I'm sure she will, actually, because of the results that she had. So we talked, and I asked her what was really going on, and she said she had no feeling in her fingers, her face, and I read in one of my books we read out loud what MS does to the body. And she talked about her knees and how sometimes when she was trying to walk, she looked like she was drunk. It was because the nerve signals weren't getting to her body. So I said, okay, well, let me try something. And so what I did is something that's called a neuroauricular treatment, and it actually is only done from here up into the soft spot at the base of your spine. So, and you either rub your finger clockwise if it's a physical issue, counterclockwise if it's an emotional issue. And I used counterclockwise because there was definitely some emotional components, fear being. So the first oil we used was our friend frankincense that we talked about. And that goes on first, counterclockwise up the back of the spine. Then, and let it soak in, rub it in. Then we use Deep Relief, which is really wonderful because you don't have to use your finger. It's a roll-on. And it has peppermint in it and coconut oil and, let me see if I can find it, and all kinds of good stuff that are actually reduce pain and are anti-inflammatory. So Deep Relief is next. Then on her, in particular, I use Stress Away. Now Stress Away, you do instead of coming from the base of the cervical spine up, you start at the top and come down, away, bringing it down like this. And that's Stress Away. And it's luscious. It's got vanilla and lime and all. Let's see if I can read this. It's got copaiba, which is an incredibly wonderful anti-inflammatory. It has citrus, which is lime. It has cedarwood, which is an oil of the scripture, vanilla, ocotea, which is an incredible cinnamon-like oil from South America, and lavender. And so you pull all the stress away from the base of the head. Then we used rutabaga. And this is rue, valerian, and lavender. And again, we start at the base and come up. So this is a really important oil in that Sleep Ease is made from this, and it works on the autonomic nervous system because we have a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system. And our sympathetic nervous system is the things that control our breathing and our heartbeat and the automatic things that happen. The parasympathetic is part of our immune system, and ours is so overloaded and stressed that we actually compromise our immune system. So the root of Allah works on empowering the immune system. And I will tell you that the first time I smelled that oil, I was recovering from cancer, and I could not stand the smell. I gagged, but I did it anyway because I knew I really needed it. Because a rule of thumb is if you cannot stand the oil, you're needed on a physical level. If you love the smell of the oil, you need it on an emotional level. So now I really like it, and I put it up my neck when I need a little extra help to sleep. And the last oil is Valor. Valor is a chiropractor in a bottle. There it is. Well, we're not seeing the Valor, are we? Anyway, there we go. Anyway, Valor from the base up. Valor is the last oil in a raindrop technique, which is for the spine. And it's the last one here, a chiropractor in a bottle. And it's an oil for courage and stamina. And so we finished with that. And she was asking me what the oils did. And I said, well, they were, snapping the synapses, getting the nerves going. And she sat there for a minute and she started snapping her fingers. She said, I haven't been able to do this in 3 years. Then she went, I can feel my face. I can feel my jaws moving when I talk. And again, hadn't been able to do that for 3 years. So then she was telling me about her knees, and we put wintergreen, Idaho balsam, and I don't remember what lemongrass. Lemongrass for the tendons, Idaho balsam fir to regenerate, and wintergreen to work on the bones themselves. And she could actually walk without a weeble wobble when we were finished. And the other appointment, which is why I like Shamanic Journeys so much, was on Tuesday to teach a lady to journey so we could get to the root cause of the rheumatoid arthritis that she has had for 40 years. And I took her on a shamanic journey. And I thought, because she channels and is such an incredible healer herself with an advanced pulse technique, I thought, wow, we'll go to the upper world and she'll meet her teacher. But as I always do, I check in and find out what I'm really supposed to do because it's for them, not me. And I was told to take her into the crystalline core of the earth. So I did. And there waiting for her in the crystal cave was a crystal skull that has been waiting for her to find it. And she was told it was on her land, and that if she continued to meet with the skull, it would show her where it is. In the meantime, and so then we did that journey, came out and went back in, and she asked, what is the cause of my rheumatoid arthritis? And she was told lack of self-care and too much responsibility for others, which I thought, wow, that's fascinating, because she was 40 years, I mean, she was in her 20s, and it was with her third pregnancy that it started coming on. So Anyway, so then we went back in. She came out, went back in, and she was given some self-care things to do. And we talked about how she can use the drumming to write what she's supposed to write. So those are my stories for today. And I want to thank you for being here for the month of August. If you have been, if you haven't, thanks for showing up for the first time. And again, for my birthday, we will be here September 25th. And that is a Thursday, and we will talk more about essential oils, Young Living in particular, and how they can enhance your health, your well-being, and your emotions, so that we become happy, healthy people. So I thank you. I have a different drum here that I was going to drum for you, and I will. This is my turtle drum for the Earth and Turtle Island, and it's one of my favorite drums, and it has a very sound. Give your crystals. And welcome back. And Shungal, my heart to your heart. And I wish you a wonderful holiday weekend if you're in the United States, and just a great weekend if you're somewhere else in the world. So thank you again for being here with me, and blessings, many, many blessings and much love. And I'll see you September 25th for more oil information and drumming, okay? Bye. Take care.